institutional stock in schools and other institutions like prisons, hospitals, and other places, we have been using traditional fireplace that is of 3 stories, where you have 3 doors. When you put the saucepan on top, whether it is institutional or domestic, there are 3 open doors where you put firewood. And when you put firewood in the 3, you are using a lot, and the fire flames are very strong. Part of it is cooking, but the rest is cooking the air around the saucepan. So they thought there should be some improvement on both stoves. That's the problem number 1 and the solution. Then they looked at number 2, where people we call them wood burn, that's what they call them, wood burning industries, where they are making bricks, fish smoking, brewing wallage, and those other things where they are done in the bushes, sometimes somewhere away from the home. And these people also were using, or are still using, a lot of firewood, a lot. But JIP founder members thought this was a government policy. The government had to come up with a government policy for the whole country to help these people improve on this, so that they also reduce the consumption of wood like here. Then they looked at number 3, the charcoal production in the country. Traditionally, charcoal production, you cut a lot of trees and you try to burn, get charcoal, but in most cases, a lot of wood is burned to ash. So one comes up with very little. By the time these people were starting this, they contacted the researchers, which researchers came up with a report saying that if Mary or Isaac cuts trees to produce charcoal, he or she needs 10 tons of wood piled and start processing, but he will get only 1 ton. The rest will be burnt to ash. So they said this also had to be improved. Then they said, when you talk to somebody, for example, if you go to a doctor and you say, I have problems in the stomach, I have this and that, then the doctor will say, I'm prescribing you aspirin. Then immediately say, oh, I can't take that. Whenever I take aspirin, I feel a kind of burning sensation in the stomach. That doctor, a trained one, cannot just say, Mary, go. He finds an alternative and say, Mary, you can take Panadol, you'll be fine. That's an alternative. So these people say, after telling the people all these problems, especially here, which we have to cook, we have to eat till death, then they said, if we say, don't use this, or don't use this, what would be the alternative? Encouraging alternative fuel. That's what these people thought. And they thought about briquettes, which you will see later. So dust could be used for cooking, biogas for cooking, solar for cooking and for light, even biogas for light. So these were alternatives that those people came up with. Although now, by the time once we are 40 years old, we've gone far into more cleaner energy, which you also see when you go around. We are using electric pressure cooker, which takes very little energy, and we are using baskets, which also takes so little, because you use a basket after cooking for a very short time, and when you put the food in the basket, which is well stuffed with insulator, the food will get cooked. In that case, you are reducing on the consumption of fuel, which fuel, when you are cutting to get fuel, you are destroying the environment, and the whole nation will lose the benefits of that. Finally, these people, by that time, of course, 83, 82, we had a lot of forests in the country. Very natural, thick, large forests, including Mabila, which was very, very big and very thick and very natural. Debudongo, Debugoma, and others. These people in Ugandans, of course, we are seeing a lot of bushes, a lot of trees around. So they did not want to start with the tree planting issue. because those people will say, what are you talking about? We have a lot of trees and all that. But having mentioned this and discussing with the Wananchi in the country, and they started mentioning some of the places we are going to fetch firewood very far, especially the girls find so many problems on the way. And some of us in the semi-peri-urban places, we are even now buying firewood. So that indicated that tree planting was a necessity.
Okay.
So that's why they made it last, but emphasized that tree planting is very, very, very important and has to be done by everybody, is as long as you are living. And here, they wanted to talk more to see that people get it right. Why should they be told to plant? But in many places, even when I started working with JIP, we could talk to the people and they say, JIP, do you think you are the ones who planted Magina? Are you the ones who ordered Bukoma to Bukoma, Budongo, and all those? And we said, no. But as we see here, and here, and here, we are using a lot.
Okay,
and they came up with a formula for planting trees, where they had the question is, who should plant trees in Uganda? Why should one plant trees? When they come to why, they wanted everybody to start thinking, what are the uses of the trees? So people come up with many, many uses, mentioning them themselves, and then they start feeling the need for planting trees.
Waste management, as said by Ruth Kiwanuka, is one way Joint Energy and Environment Project is conserving the environment. Let's practically see how some of what is considered as wastes is being reutilized at JIP in earning income and promoting environmental conservation.
Now we make various types of products from these wastes. Now here, on the second R, we're using them into now they become raw materials. Like for making these storage boxes, like this one, which was made out of waste newspaper. Now these are what you call paper tubes. So we use this what's called paper skewer. But let me leave it. Now for it, it's used for rolling. You put your piece of newspaper here on the table, then you roll it. You get some kind of this. It's like a stick, but you call it a paper tube or straw.
Then this.
Now then this is a lampshade. Lampshade. For example, I can open it from here. Then I decide to put replace a bulb. Then now this shade here. It was made of, first of all, you blow a balloon to get the shape you want. Then you get that, you get this yarn, that thread, some like cotton thread, that yarn. Then you dress that balloon with that yarn after soaking it in wood glue. You normally use wood glue because it does that, it sticks very well, substances very well. That's why so we dress that balloon with that cotton which is soaked in glue like very many times until you get something like this. So for it to dry we give it 24 hours to dry to get the shape you want. Normally it doesn't come out very well. If the shape doesn't come out very well, you can do another balloon to stretch the threads into the shape you want. So now this base was made out of newspapers. Some may think that it's cardboard, the box kind, but these are newspapers. And these are some of us. We go to weddings and they ask us why do we ask for this what? Why do we need these bottle tops for what? Some of you may be asking that question. So these bottle tops are useful. Those bottle tops you get from those glass soda bottles. So now, first of all, that you get a bottle top. Those which they call what they call. Yes, you call them. Yes. You get a bottle top, and you get a piece of cloth, normally those bitench. And you dress it. You dress it. You use this. You know these threads which are used for sewing, which are used for mending shoes.
Yes.
You get those threads which are strong enough. These ones. Then we kind of we dress it very well. You first sew the cloth into a circular form, where the bottle top will sit, and now after you pull it so that it can enclose the bottle top inside. And to joining them, like you can sew the edge of this bottle top to the edge of the other bottle top until you get a chain.
Okay.
Yes. So now, it's for also storage. It's entirely made of newspaper wastes. Yes, newspaper wastes. You just keep on, like how we roll a belt. You just keep on rolling them until you just keep on and you add on until you get something like this, and you paint it. Yes. Now this chair, some of us may be having our boxes at home. There are very many, but we don't know what to use them for. Some of us decide to burn them, yet you can come up with a very useful thing like this, a chair. Now this chair has many things inside. First of all, down inside here the bottles of the same kind.
They are packed inside.
They are packed inside, plastic bottles of the same kind. For example, if I want to use Renzori bottles, you have to be Renzori only. And the way I'm packing the bottles is what? Those bottles are going to give me the shape of the chair, which chair I want. Yes. Okay. So first, then after packing the bottles very well, you pack layer by a bottle layer. You pack the layers of bottle layer by layer. You first tie them with a thread, and you pack another layer of bottles, tie them with a thread like that.
According to the Uganda National Household Survey 2019-2020, released by Uganda Bureau of Statistics, WBOS Week, 73% of Ugandans were proved to be using firewood to cook, up from 64% who are using firewood in a similar survey done in 2016-2017. Promotion of energy-saving technologies is another solution JIP is using to prevent environmental degradation.
Now at JIP, we promote energy-saving stoves, ICS, and we have 2 tiers, that is Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 clean cooking energies is what you can see in my background, and Tier 2 we shall progress and go to Tier 2. For Tier 2, that's where we talk about solar for cooking, electric pressure cookers, and modern ovens as well. To start with Tier 1, we have the simplest form of energy saving stove, which we train in rural communities, and this is called the Rocket Rowena stove. Now in this stove, the efficiency of this stove is around 35%. That means the energy efficiency is 35%, which means if you're using 10 sticks of firewood to boil 1 liter of water, in this one you will use 4 to 5 sticks of firewood to boil the same when you're using the open stove. So this is a 2-pothole stove whereby you use the same wood to cook 2 things at the same time. So you can prepare food here and sauce at the same time. Then it has a chimney. This one is not complete, but it has a chimney you can connect to, and the smoke goes out, which helps in reducing of lung or the breathing affected diseases. So this is the Rocket Rowena. Then we have the shielded stove, which is here as well. This is 1 pothole. And these are made from locally available materials. That is, we use anthill soil blended with grass, cut grass, or dry grass, or banana leaves. So these are locally available, and people in the rural communities even in the urban or peri-urban centers can access them and make these stoves. Then we also have this is still under tier 1. We have these ones are the normal charcoal energy saving stoves. They use less charcoal because of the insulation of clay. We also have this type. It is the same, but this one is dual purpose. It uses firewood and charcoal at the same time. So if you want to use firewood, you just remove this and you can use firewood. And if you want to use the charcoal, you just put this inside and you use the charcoal. Then we have these improved tier 1 clean cooking technologies. We have the Tillard, which is top lit down thrust. So what this does is that it is 2 in 1. So you cut your wood to this length and you pack it inside here. Then you light it. It will burn from top to down, hence the name Tillard, top down. So it will burn from up to down, and as it is burning, it forms charcoal. Now when the wood is complete and the burning has stopped, you just open here, remove this part, and you can still use the charcoal down here. So this is improved tier 2 technologies. So this one is Moto Baba stove. It uses wood, but very little wood to burn or boil something that is big. So that is this is tier 2, but this is improved tier 1. So we also have the barbecue stove. This is a stove used to prepare or roast meat. The advantage it has is that, one, the meat can't get burnt because of it conserves energy, and you don't use a lot of fire, or you don't use a lot of charcoal. It uses briquettes and charcoal as well, and it is very efficient. You don't need to monitor the meat that is being roasted. All you need to do is put it here, close, and you come back after some time to check on it, but it doesn't get burnt. So we also have the pizza ovens. This is specifically for making pizza. People like it because of the pizza has more flavor, that's what they say, as compared to the rest. So this is a pizza oven. It's also energy saving. What we have here is an improved institutional cook stove. We have tested this with Creek, and it also has 35%. It's between 35 to 40% thermal efficiency. But the advantage with this one, it has an electronics blower. What this blower does is that, one, it increases the efficiency. The blower is this one here. This is the blower. It is just a fan attached to it, in that it provides air or supplies air. So if you want to increase or reduce the heat, there is a circuit here which you can turn. Now here we are increasing the heat, so I'm increasing the air, the rate at which the air is blown in, or I can reduce the heat. It's easy to light because you don't need to blow. You just put on the switch and start the fire. Plus it's also highly efficient, and you can control the temperature of the stove. Yes. This is a normal improved institutional cook stove. For it doesn't have a blower, but its efficiency is around 35% thermal efficiency. Yes. So this is the normal institutional cook stove. So now, in between tier 1 and tier 2, we have other technologies that help in cooking and keeping things warm. This is what we call the fireless cooking basket. Now, what the fireless cooking basket does is that it works on the principle of heat retention. So the theory is, if you heat food to the boiling point, you do not need to supply it with more heat to cook it. So what we do is, if the theory still is, if you can maintain this heat, this food at that temperature, it will get ready. So this is what the heat retention bag does. For example, if you're cooking beans, you will boil your beans for, if they are fresh beans, you boil them for 40 minutes. After the 40 minutes, you put them inside here for like 30 to 45 minutes, and you'll find them ready. They cook food. These fireless cooking baskets, they cook food, and they can also keep food warm.
What do you make them out of?
These ones are made out of cloth, as you can see. This is normal cloth and cotton waste. So this is a normal basket. We also have a lining of cotton waste inside with the cloth to keep the cotton waste intact. Yes. So these are fireless cooking baskets. The bigger the basket, the more it can contain inside. But the theory is the same. Yes, of course, they have had impact in the communities. One, because from the communities of Nakaseke, Nakasongola, Nebi, Zombo, and Ajumani, where we have promoted these technologies, there has been a report on the increase in savings, both money and firewood. Because if we even did some tests, we made some rudimentary tests on how these technologies fare in the real world, and we found out that if instead of if you're using the open fire cook stove and you're using this, the person using this is going to use very little firewood as compared to the person using the open fire. We have had testimonies of people saving up to 10,000 a week on just wood saving. Yes. And then this one keeps, this one has also helped families to become stable, because now when men come back in the evening, they find the food warm and they are not using any firewood, or they are not spending much in keeping the food warm as well.
How long can it keep the food warm?
The test is between 7 to 8 hours keeping the food warm, yes. Because when we go in the fields and we carry out the tests, we usually start in the morning and by evening we are leaving, but the food is still warm. But the guarantee is between 7 to 8 hours of keeping the food warm. But it can also cook as well, like I explained. If you're boiling rice, you just boil your rice for 5 minutes, put it inside here for 35 minutes, and you'll find the rice ready.
Ready?
Yes. We shall carry out a test, and you will, we shall carry out a time test, and that will be proven. We have the electric pressure cookers. These are the two types. The difference is volume and wattage. This one uses 1000 watts and it is the capacity of 7 liters. So we did like the rudimentary tests I talked about. This was the cheapest form of cooking technologies. We were boiling a kilo of beans using all the technologies we promote and the open fire, and we found out that this one you can boil beans at 500 shillings. Between 500 and 700 shillings, you can prepare your beans, which is, that is, because when we go to the communities, beans is like the staple food, and it's what takes a lot of wood because it takes a long time to cook, especially the dry beans. And actually in the refugee settlements, they have faced that problem because they are given beans, but they are not given the wood. So such technologies are very good to promote because they spend very little. Someone can look at the 1000 watts and get worried, but if you make the calculations on the cost or the amount of watt hours used while using this technology, it will amount to 700 shillings maximum if you're preparing beans. This is also an electric pressure cooker, but for it uses 400 watts. And we use this to, we are connecting this to the new technology. This is a solar generator. I'm going to explain more about the solar generator and why it came about and why we have come up with it. In our solar installations, we found that the cost is increased, or it is a bit high, and that is due to the batteries. The batteries at the moment, the good batteries are very expensive, and they are very delicate. They get spoiled very quickly. So that has increased the price of installation or acquisition of the solar system. So what we are doing is that we are doing away with the battery with this technology, whereby you can cook directly from the solar panels and you don't need a battery. So this is a solar generator, and what is inside there is what we call a buck and boost converter. So what it does is that it converts the DC from, it converts DC to AC, and it maintains it at 200, 230, 220 volts. So you can use this, this pressure cooker. At the moment, it can give us 600 watts. So we can use something of 400 watts with it. It can not only cook, but you can use any appliance that is below 400 watts, which can work directly from solar. And regardless of the fluctuations of the sun, it will still give you the 600 watts.
Despite the efforts by non-governmental organizations in promoting environmental conservation, stakeholders say changing people's mindset remains a hindrance.